this is now the epilogue, which is very short. And let's get started. Okay, guys, let's get started. Oh, I'm so excited to finish it. Okay, so this is the picture. Okay, so the title is "In which several endings can be discerned." It was considered by many to be one of the greatest days of history of Stormhold, the day that the Lady Una, long lost and believed to be dead, having been stolen as an infant, by which returned to the Mountain Kingdom. There were celebrations and fireworks and rejoicing, official and otherwise, for weeks after the palanquin arrived in procession led by 3 elephants. The joy of the inhabitants of Stormhold and all the dominion was raised to levels hitherto unparalleled when the Lady Una announced that in her time away she had given birth to a son, who, in the absence and presumed death to the last 2 of her brothers, was the next heir to the throne. Indeed, she told them, he already wore the power of Stormhold about his neck. He and his new bride would come to them soon. The Lady Una could be no more specific about the date of their arrival than this, which appeared to irk her. In the meantime, and in their absence, the Lady Una announced that she would rule the Stormhold as regent, which she did, and did well. All the dominions on and about Mount Huon prospered and flourished under her command. It was 3 more years before the 2 traveled stained wanderers arrived, dusty and footsore, in the town of Cloud's Range, in the lower reaches of the Stormhold proper, and they took a room in an inn and sent for hot water and a tin bath. They stayed at the inn for several days, conversing with the other customers and guests. On the last night of their stay, the woman whose hair was so fair it was almost white, and who walked with a limp, looked at the man and said, well, he said, Mother certainly seemed to be doing an excellent job of reigning, just as you, she told him tartly, would do every bit as well if you took the throne. Perhaps, he admitted, and it certainly seems like it would be a nice place to end up eventually. But there are no many places we have not yet seen, so many people still to meet, not to mention all the wrongs and right villains to vanquish, sights to see, all that, She smiled wryly. Well, she said, at least we shall not be bored, but we had better leave your mother a note. And so it was that the Lady Una of Stormhold was brought a sheet of paper by the innkeeper's lad. The sheet was sealed with a sealing wax, and the Lady Una questioned the boy closely about the travelers, a man and his wife, before she broke the seal and read the letter. It was addressed to her, and after the salutations it read, have been unavoidably detained by the world. Expect us when you see us, Tristan. It was signed by Tristan, and beside the signature was a fingerprint, which glittered and glimmered and shone when the shadows touched it, as if it had been dusted with tiny stars, with which, there being nothing else that she could do about it, Una had to content herself. I was another 5 years after that before you 2 travelers returned to the mountain fastness. They were dusty and tired and dressed in rags and tatters, and were at first, and to the shame of the entire kingdom, treated as vagabonds and rogues. And it was not until the man displayed the topaz stone that hung about his neck that he was recognized as the Lady Una's only son. The investitures and subsequent celebrations went on for almost a month, after which the young 82nd Lord of Stormhold got on with business and of ruling. He made a few decisions as possible, but those he made were wise ones, even if the wisdom was not always apparent at the time. He was valiant in battle, though his left hand was scarred, and of little use, and cunning strategist. He led his people to victory against the northern goblins when they closed the passes to travelers. He forged the last peace with the eagles of the high crags, a peace that remains in this place until this day. His wife, the Lady Yvain, was a fair woman from distant parts, although none one was ever entirely certain quite which ones. She took herself a suite of rooms in one of the highest peaks of the citadel, a suite that had long been abandoned as unusable by the palace and its staff. Its roof had collapsed in a rockfall 1,000 years earlier. No one else had wished to use them, for the rooms were open to the sky, and the stars and the moons shone down upon them so brightly through the thin mountain air, and it seemed no one could simply reach out and hold them in one hand. Tristan and Yvain were happy together, not forever after. For time, the thief eventually takes all the things into the dusty storehouse, but they were happy as the things go for a long while, and the death came in the night and whispered her secret into the ear of 82nd Lord Stormhold, and he nodded his gray head, and he said nothing more, and his people took his remains to the Hall of Ancestors, where they lie to this day. After Tristan's death, there were those who claimed that he was a member of the Fellowship of the Castle and was instrumental in breaking the power of the Unseelie Court, but the truth of that, as so much died with him, and has never been established, neither one way or another. Yvain became the Lady of Stormhold and proved a better monarch in peace and in war than any would have dared to hope. She did not age as her husband had aged. And her eyes remained blue. Her hair is golden white, and as a free citizen of Stormhold would have occasionally cause to discover. Her temper as quick to flare as on the night of Tristan's first encounter her in the glade beside the pool. She walks with a limp to this day, although no one in Stormhold would ever remark upon it any more than they dare remark upon the way she glitters and shines upon occasions in darkness. They say that each night, when the duties of state permit, she climbs on the foot of the limbs alone to the highest peak of the palace, where she stands for hour after hour, seeming not to notice the cold peak winds. She says nothing at all, but simply stares upward into the dark sky and watches with sad eyes the slow dance of the infinite stars. The end. Yeah. And that's it, guys. That is it. We made it through, and I hope you guys have enjoyed Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Like I said before, there is a movie, which this is the movie, and I hope you have enjoyed this time with me and reading this with me, and I am so happy to have finished it, so then we can start another book, which I'll get it right now. What am I dropping in? So the next book that we're gonna be reading is Surprised by Joy by C.S. Lewis. It's already tabbed and it's all ready to go. So guys, hopefully you'll be with me will be my 4th book in the series of reading. Just different books that I want to read and stuff. So this is it, guys. This is it. So anyway, thank you guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, give me a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, hit the bell for notifications, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye, guys.